Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Good morning, everyone. My name's Dakota, if you don't know. And today we're going to go ahead and get into marking up the charts for this week. Turn that down a little bit. So I went ahead and added a little bit of music because some of you guys said you wanted it in the background for this. Let me know if it's too low or too loud, and I'll be sure to change it. Alright, but before we even touch the charts for today and mark up for this week, I do want to say, supposed to post videos, right? And I was working hard on them. I edited them, but some software errors came up and I wasn't able to get them the way that I wanted to. So I'm not gonna post those because they're not complete. So I'm gonna re-record and make sure everything's right before I send them out. And I want to go back on what I said in my channel intro and not say every weekend, because I see that there's gonna be complications. I'll push and strive for every weekend, but I'll push and try for every weekend. But if I'm not able to, or if the video's not right, I'm not gonna post it. I don't want to just post content that doesn't have at least my it doesn't satisfy what I think has quality, at least for what I believe my skill level to be at this moment. All right, when it comes to editing and videos and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and get into the charts. If this is your first time hopping on, every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we hop on the charts. We go over basically what I'm paying attention to for the week and what anyone else wants to pay attention to for the week, right? If you want to see me go over a chart, or if you want to talk about a chart, just go ahead and type something in the live chat. I'll be sure to look at it, and I'll be sure to bring it up on the chart, bring it up on the screen, and we can talk about it. All right, let me make sure everything is good. Yeah, you guys can hear me. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Remember from last week, we were basically trading EURJPY, cable, and pound Kiwi, and we had a pretty good week last week. If we go to EURJPY, we can see we had a buy opportunity. We caught that buy opportunity. I actually just closed that this morning because of that ascending channel, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And we also had this big sell here. Now, I didn't take this sell because I saw a possible area that price could potentially reject. I saw an area where price could potentially reject. It was somewhere in this area. I think it was this one. Yeah, I saw an area price could potentially reject, which it wasn't going to give me the risk to reward ratio that I wanted, so I didn't take the trade, and I just waited for this buy setup. But we got this. It came down for about 80 pips if you took that. All right, and you had a second entry here. Both screenshots are in the Discord channel. If you want the link to the Discord channel or want to see those screenshots, the link to the Discord channel is in the description. But that's basically the overview of EURJPY last week. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead, type in the live chat before I just run through everything. But let's go ahead and move over to marking it up and see what we're looking at for what's coming next. Alright, so let's start on the monthly. Let's hide that and do this. Okay, if you're new to my trading style is very simple. I only do a few things. I box price in with horizontal lines and trend lines, and what I'm looking for while I'm boxing price in, essentially the three moves on the market, right? The way that I see the market, you have an impulse, you have corrective pattern, and then you have your continuation, which the continuation is just another impulse. So really the only two things that I see on the chart are an impulse and a correction. All right, that's it. I separate the chart by impulse and correction, and the correction is just going to form a pattern, whether it's going up or going down or going sideways. It doesn't really matter. It's just small candles that are consolidating, and those small candles that are consolidating are telling me, okay, this is probably where the next impulse is going to go. All right, that's pretty much what I'm doing while boxing in the charts. All right, so that's it going up. Another way to explain it, the impulse tells you the direction the market wants to go. The correction confirms that the market wants to go in that direction. That's if it goes in a certain way. That's if it goes the opposite direction of the impulse, right? And then the continuation is ultimately the move you want to catch, right? So this is what we're, at the top of here is what we're entering off of and looking to catch that next impulse there. Right, hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, go ahead, let me know, and I'll try to explain it in a different way. Now, on these calls, I actually do want to, in my Discord channel, I have, what's it called? A voice channel or a voice chat where I can basically live stream on here, on YouTube, and on my Discord channel at the same time. And you guys would actually be able to like speak, right? Instead of just type. So I want to do that. Last time I did that, it crashed the software and it ended the live stream kind of weird. So I need to buy a new computer in order to do that, because right now my stuff is not able to handle that. But in the near future, definitely will be having that. But here on EURJPY, basically all I did on the monthly, I box price in the most recent areas where prices made a major move, right? So here, last time price came up to this level, it shot down. I forgot the shortcut to the ruler. What is it? It's shift. Okay. Shot down over 2,000 pips, and we just had a bounce up from this area. If we look further to the left, we can see here price came down to this area and it shot up, rejected it, and again price came here and shot down another over 2,000 pips. And then here at this bottom line, price shot up 2,000 pips. Okay, pretty simple. It's basic support resistance just on a larger time frame. I call them supply and demand zones on my monthly, weekly, and daily. And the monthly, weekly, and daily are really the prime time frames where I'm really figuring out the overall direction of the market. Okay. So previously on the last calls, you guys would see me draw this trend line here. Okay, and I'll extend it up a little bit like that. But now we have a candle that's breaking it technically on the monthly. And also, if I were to extend it, I don't have two touches. Price is still forming in this area, so it doesn't make sense for me to base my second touch off of this candle, all right, or that cluster, those clusters of candles. So no trend line there. We just have an uptrend on the lower time frame. Let's go down to our weekly. On the weekly time frame, we reset. We can go ahead and draw the uptrend. There's two places we can start the uptrend. We can start it from here and draw it like that, or we could start it from here and draw it like this, right? Really, confirmation for a trend line is just two touches, right? If you can get two touches, and essentially what that means, because essentially what that means is bottom of one impulse, and then a correction comes and touches and gives you another impulse, right? Or can I explain it? Can I explain that? I can explain that better. If we look here, we have an impulse there, and if we look here, we have an impulse here as well. And really all you're doing is just connecting the top of the two impulses, like that. Top of the impulse is there, top of the impulse is there. You have 1, 2, and that's your trend line, okay? And if I go ahead and start it up higher, we can see we have another impulse here. One, two touches, that's your trend line, drawn like that. And we can move it closer like that on top of the candle instead of the wicks. All right, yeah, I definitely like that explanation better than what I said the first time. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, let's reset that. That's on the weekly. We have our uptrend. So we still see our supply in our demand zone, so there's no need to draw anything new. And so let's go down to our daily time frame. On this daily time frame, we are going to draw a supply zone, and we're going to bring this trend line tighter. You want to ensure that those two touches remain, and actually I want the trend line up like this, so it's closer to price. The closer the lines are to price, the sooner you reach an area that price needs to react to, essentially, in a sense. Yep, here's my supply zone. I see there's multiple rejections off of this level, so it's an area of interest. So right here at this point, if I was to stop the markup here, basically what I'm looking for is either price to break through this horizontal line I have and go into this zone. And every time price enters a new zone or period, every time price enters a zone, what I'm essentially looking for is price to really just bounce back and forth between the supply and demand zones. Okay. Now, with that being said, you can see we're already in this zone down here, right? We have a top and we have a bottom here. Okay, so recognizing that, that means we're at the top of this zone, so price could possibly break down and start consolidating there. Now, ideally, what I'm looking for in this situation, I'm looking for price to break this trend line, give me a correction. That was ugly. I'm looking for price to break this trend line, give me a correction, and then sell off. All right, that's what I would like to see. But we have a few more steps before actually completely deciding what we're gonna do, at least for this week. Okay, so at this point on the daily, price is all boxed in. Let's go down to a lower time frame on the 4-hour time frame. This is the last time frame, if necessary, that we're gonna draw a new supply or demand zone. And we zoom out a few times, we see that we see our supply zone, but we don't see our demand zone. So we're gonna go ahead and draw a new one, and I'm going to draw it right here. And what I'm looking for when I draw these lines, like I said, they're kind of like support and resistance lines, or pretty much are, just on higher time frames. I see that there are a ton of rejections here. There's a rejection here as well. And when I say rejection, I'm not talking about a little tap and I'm not talking about it touches it, because price touches a ton of areas. Like I remember when I first started off, I would consider absolutely everything a support and resistance line. Like every time price bounced, it was a support and resistance line. So here, support, resist, support, 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 and I have all these lines on my chart based off of 1, 2, 3, like little bounces. What I'm paying attention to when I draw these supply and demand zones are essentially swings, or swinging opportunities. So from here it shot down 300 pips, from here it shot down 300 pips, from here it shot up 200 pips, right? Looking for big, usually impulsive movement off of those bounces, or off of those lines or areas. All right, so on the 4-hour, we got this. So let's break down what's previously happened. We had an impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, and what I'm looking for now is an ascending channel here. You can start to see prices making smaller candles, at least on the 4-hour. That means on the lower time frame, it's probably some consolidation, but the consolidation is all moving upwards. So I'm going to be paying attention for a possible sell breakout on this. So let's go to the lower time frame and see if we can capitalize off anything. This looks way cleaner than the other chart. And my fault, I'll skip the time frame. Okay, so in a perfect world, I want to see price scale up to the supply. I want to see price scale up to this supply zone and then sell off. And let's get a little bit more detailed. And let's say you missed the sell off, basically the breakout here. Next thing I would look for is a correction. And then another sell off, at least to the trend line, bare minimum to the trend line. Okay, and I'm looking for this sell until or unless price breaks above this supply zone, gives me a retest and then continues up. If that happens, I'll stop looking for the sell and I'll start looking for buys, and essentially the next target would be up up there, right? Okay, but if you want to be a little bit more ambitious about this, you can see targets possibly leading down to this low here, or even further to what we saw in the monthly time frame. We have levels lower, right? So if price breaks that trend line, that's a great opportunity for us. But let me go ahead and send the screenshot out. I already sent my personal chart to the Discord channel, but I'll send this one that we did on the live call. As well. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about pound dollar. Do we have a, yeah, we took a trade on pound dollar last week at the beginning of the week of last, geez. We took a trade last week. Let me just say that. All right. It was in this impulse. There was a small correction, I believe, on the 5-minute time frame. 5-minute, 15-minute time frame. Yeah, it was 15-minute, and I entered off the 5-minute, and it sold down to here. Let's actually find it. I don't want to make an estimate. Here we go. Our entry was here. It sold, hit TP relatively quickly. It actually went down further if you held on to it. Went down about 160 pips. And afterwards, we were looking for price to actually correct here and break out of the 4-hour range that it's been in recently. But price came back up impulsively, formed an ascending channel, and actually broke down this morning. So with this breakdown, I'm looking for a possible setup for a new sell. And today, not today, but I'll mark it up fully. And on this markup, I won't take as long. All right. If you guys do have any questions or want me to slow down, just let me know. All right. Let's get it. Okay, pound dollar, we have an uptrend. We can box price in like this. It's not going to be much help because it's pretty far away from where price is right now. So we'll fix that as we go down to lower time frames. The uptrend that we are seeing on the higher time frame, I'm gonna, choke it a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna choke it a little bit. So it's basically tighter to price, so I can get an earlier break potentially if price decides to break a trend line, as opposed to waiting for it to retrace even deeper where it is right now. Yeah, I'm gonna put a supply zone here as well because price made a rejection here before, and price is kind of reacting to it right now. We have smaller candles around that area, so we could potentially see at least some type of drop or some type of reaction in this area. And if price breaks above it, it's pretty much a good confirmation for us to look for a target for for us to start thinking long and look to target the supply zone. Let's go down to our daily. Let's tighten that up a little bit. Okay, if we reset that chart, just correct movement moving up. Price materials boxed in. There's no new trend line to draw. Let's go to our 4-hour. On the 4-hour time frame. Again, yeah, I just had deja vu. I'm not drawing that. I think I did that last time we were on the call. But this is the range. We can technically call this like a fake out of the range. Price broke up. I'm gonna bring this closer down like that, so it's just encapsulating the range as opposed to previous price areas. We had an ascending channel. Let's go down to our lower time frame off the 1 hour. Can you analyze US30? I got you. I got 2 more pairs and I got you. All right, and I'll go just as fast on GU. Yeah, so we had this ascending channel, price broke out, and all we're waiting for is a correction and looking for a sell down to that level, possibly even lower, which is about a 80 pip move. Let's go down to a lower time frame so we can have a kill zone. 30-minute time frame, that's nice. My kill zone's right here. And we don't have a correction just yet that started, so everything's subject to change. So just waiting on a pullback and then looking to enter for a sell. There's GU. Alright, next one, GBPNZD, favorite pair. Start on the monthly. I honestly don't remember us even having any opportunities. I mean, it looks like we did. Yeah, we did. I remember it vividly. It hit my stop loss, but my broker didn't close my trade, so I was still in it. I moved my stop loss to break even. I got stopped out at break even after it hit TP1, and then price just rallied down to the original move. So essentially, in reality, there was no reason for me to move my stop loss to break even. Yes, TP1 was hit, but based on like my strategy or my rules or my trading plan, right? I'm not supposed to do that, so I had a trading error. Now I think that was, I would definitely say that was due to fear, because number one, like some form of slippage, like my SL got hit, so I was like, oh, this is a losing trade, and my broker didn't close it, so I was like, I'm not supposed to be in this trade anyway, so let me just close it. That was the rationale. But I went in my trading notes, I recognized it, and I am at least aware of the problem, and if it happens again, I need to be sure that I react appropriately. Monthly time frame. Demand zone. Could say supply zones there. I'll say supply zones here for now. We'll go to the lower time frame and make everything tighter. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. Yes. Alright, so what we got going on right here, we have an impulse here, we have a correction here, and I'm looking for one more sell. That would be amazing. Right? A sell down to this area would be amazing. And if price breaks the trend line, we just switch our bias and start looking for buys. But right now, it's selling all day. Let's go to our daily. Okay, so instead of drawing the pattern out, I'm just going to draw a trend line here. Again, just to make it tighter, I'm going to draw my supply zone right there. we have price boxed in, should be on the 4 hour as well. Yep. In the supply zone that we have right here, we can see price has rejected this area 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 5 times. Okay, we are in the 5th time, and what I would love to see is a 6th time that price comes up there. But could be asking for a lot. Here we have a descending channel possibly forming. I'd like to see price consolidate here probably one more time and then push up, give me an ascending channel in this area, impulse down, correction, and then sell. And I will send that out. Boom. Now dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss was not on the list last week. I saw a really good opportunity as I was going through charts over the weekend. So I'm like, this is definitely going to be on the list. And this is basically the setup. And dollar Swiss is relatively easy, so it's probably going to be one of the simplest markups of the day. Let me go to a different broker because that looks nasty. Alright, supply zone up there, demand zone here. Again, just looking at major areas. Go down to our weekly time frame, and let me bring up YouTube just in case someone's talking in the chat. Alright, okay, we have a downtrend there. Downtrend looks pretty wide, and I'll draw it so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Well, I guess that wasn't what I was seeing. I was seeing it come out here a little bit. I think I started from this area, but here trend line's broken, so we don't need it anyway. We have an uptrend on a lower time frame. We're looking for a supply zone to box price in as we go down to a lower time frame. So let's find a supply zone on this time frame. I like that right there. We see price consolidate within that area for a long period of time, and price could be coming back up to that area to test it again. So here on the daily, we have this nice possible uptrend, and since price has bounced off this area, I will shift this up just a little bit to there just so it's neater for more recent price. We have a strong impulse going up, and we're waiting for a correction. Pretty simple. And what I would love the correction to do is come down to this level, but price, we need to pay attention to price coming to the bottom of this ascending channel that's here and possibly rejecting that area. And we can check what Fibonacci level that is. That would be the 50 Fibonacci level that price could potentially retest or test. And after that, just looking for a buy opportunity to that supply zone. But do we stop there? No, we do not. I'll send this out, and there's one more thing that we can do. Like since the setup's so clean, and if you've gone through like there was a video I did basically saying the approach that I took to pass FTMO, and this is basically the approach. Like if I see a clean setup like this, I'd go down on lower time frames and treat it as a fractal. What a fractal is basically just, we see an impulse and a correction here, but there are impulses and corrections within that. Okay, so let me break that down. So here we have an impulse. Let me go to a higher time frame so it's cleaner. All right. So here we have strong aggressive candles moving up, which is our impulse, and after that we have a correction. Okay, now within this correction we have smaller impulses and corrections, but those are going to be impulses and corrections on the downside. So let's go down to 1 hour. So within this, I know, okay, I need this to retrace down, so there's going to be possible smaller sells. So here there's an impulse, there's a correction there, and there's my sell. There's a descending channel, there's an impulse, there's a correction, and there's my buy. But I know this isn't the big move yet because I need this to retrace to a certain level. Okay, and then there's this, there's a correction, and I would have sold there but didn't get to sell. Price pushed up, just consolidated, then formed an impulse, correction, impulse, flat pattern. You guys basically see what I'm talking about, right? There are patterns within patterns, and you can take advantage of them, and that's basically what we have the opportunity of doing on dollar Swiss at the moment right now. Let's reset the chart, and we see on the 1 hour time frame we have an impulse coming down, we have a correction coming up, and we're looking for a possible sell. Boom. All right. Now, US 30. Let's see what it is talking about. Let me go to like FX CM. All right. So with indices, I do pay attention to US 30. I usually trade S&P 500 or NAS, but it is currently on my back testing list. So you guys will be seeing. I actually made a reference to it earlier this year. So you'll see it later. Okay, right now the high to break is right there. Price is at that high. It's probably gonna break that high, honestly. There's not much to do there. Oops, I'm definitely keeping that level there. I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to draw this. And we no longer need this uptrend. On the lower time frame, we have another uptrend. Sorry, I'm mumbling. So I forgot I was like supposed to be explaining. Basically, we have this uptrend here on this time frame. Price is actually forming a ascending channel at the area that it's at right now. So we could see a possible retracement, and I would like to see a retracement down to this level. See price test this area. This is a high time frame, so we're not going to draw any conclusions. That's just an area of interest for us at this moment. So let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. And when I say high time frame, it's a high time frame with indices. I generally trade indices on 15-minute and 5-minute time frames. I get my overall bias on the higher time frames and then like trade on the lower ones. Okay, so if price breaks this trend line, looking for a correction and looking for price to sell down to this area, and that would be my target. This is the 1 hour, so it's still kind of a high time frame, at least for me if I was trading this. Price is at certain highs right now, so it does make sense for it to at least reject for a little bit. But honestly, long term, within the next few days, I do see it like breaking through those areas. And what would be perfect, right? If everything like is just perfect, if everything just wants to look good for Dakota, right? The universe wants to be nice to Dakota this week. It'll be amazing if we get a correction that does not look ugly like that. Oh yeah, let's just take that. Some form of consolidation here down to this level. Obviously not that much, but there. And then look for a buying opportunity from this area. That's what I'll be looking for, at least right now with how the chart's looking. Most likely it's going to sell for a little bit down to there. Let's go down to the 15 and see what's happening right now. Okay. Right now it's set up for a buy. Looking for it to reach the top of this channel one more time. Top of the channel, look for a selling opportunity, which is actually better than that trend line. And I will say, like, I guess I could draw a horizontal line silly at the highs. Or it is the high, actually. Alright, so I'll send this out. Probably won't keep updates on this. I'll talk about it probably at the end, like next week, since we talked about it on here. But so if there are any more pairs, go ahead, type in the live chat. Let's go ahead and look at if anything has set up for us yet. Beautiful. EURJPY has given us an opportunity. 30-minute time frame should be an engulfing candle. Got 3 back crows. This is essentially an entry for that. For basically an early entry. I'm actually going to take this opportunity. 20 pip stop loss. Price could come back up and spike up. It does it all the time in ascending channel, so don't be surprised if that happens. Just be prepared for it. Okay, we have that. I'm looking for a target down at this level, about a 4-to-1 down there. Yeah, that's what I'm targeting, and I'm looking for another correction for another opportunity to enter for this sell. But this is the first entry. And let me do that right now. Where is my phone? So sure, you guys, if you guys like hop on some of the webinars that I do, I'm sure you hear me talk about all the time, like I don't care about the pips, so I focus on like percentages. The app that I use to figure out what lot size to use if I want to risk a certain percentage is called Stenu right now. Recently they have started charging. They just started charging in January. So there is an alternative app if you want to use that. It's called FX Calculator. I know it's at least in the Google Play Store. Don't know if it's in the Apple App Store. Risking with a 20 pip stop loss, I think it was. Ooh, you don't take the same, take profit too. $127, $194, $126, $193. That, so let's set an alert here so I don't miss that one. Dollar Swiss, like, I haven't seen a time where dollar Swiss like fell as a pattern yet. Or am I lying? I may be lying, but I don't see it often. I don't see dollar Swiss like often like fail patterns. So it's one of my go-to pairs. For that to push up, and there's really nothing to do here. I'm not taking the buy opportunity for GBPNZD, and I believe that's everything. All right. So today, usually, once I finish, I'll go to the gym. My car is getting repaired, so I'm gonna stay here and focus on the charts. And I'll have someone take me to the gym later. But so if you guys want to talk about anything, just let me know. And yeah, otherwise, I'll go through some other pairs that I want to pay attention to. There are any. Okay, sold off. We're already in that. Okay, so dollar yen we talked about. It gave us this buy opportunity. This was the opportunity that I was talking about when I said it really looks like a really good opportunity. Again, I hope someone caught this because it's still swinging up. There's an ascending channel for a possible correction that could possibly form, and it should be clear on the daily. Sorry. Alright, on the daily. So here we had this impulse up, we had this correction. This was our buying opportunity. We actually had two buying opportunities, but this was when we were on the live call, and that was the area to pay attention to. Price pushed up. How far has it pushed up since that? It's pushed up 220, and right now it's at 200. On the lower time frame, I did see an ascending channel, so start to look for a possible correction, and then look for another possible buy. Okay, again, base your targets off of these support. Off of these the top of these impulse levels, and see how price is reacting to those areas. Instead of just saying, I'm just gonna like hold it all the way until it gets here, because price could retrace, and you never know how deep the retracement can be, and you want to be prepared for that. Let's go to dollar Swiss. We already talked about that. Dollar CAD, it broke. Dollar CAD broke our at least my downtrend that I had. Has an impulse, has a correction, and looking for it to push up a little bit higher. Let me be more detailed. Actually, yeah, I'll be a little bit more detailed, and then I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about this book. Alright, so there's our impulse, there's our correction. I mean, it's forming a triangle basically and looking for a buy. There's not much to there's not much to say. There's not much to say. Like, just target that trend line right there. I mean, the buying opportunity is like right now if you wanted to enter. You had a few opportunities to enter already, at least based on my rules. Like, I had a few opportunities to enter. But yeah, I would definitely buy and target here. Be careful around the trend line. Price could still sell, but yeah, and that's pretty much it. And gold gave us our sell, but again didn't come to our entry price. It's down at this demand zone, and we're looking for like an actual major buy here. If we go to the daily, the buy, and if you scroll up in the Discord channel, you should see the screenshot as well. Looking for this to push up here now. Now that price has retested this area already. Okay. So, last thing I want to talk about, and then I'll go ahead and end the live stream. Talk about this book, right? If you've been trading for a while, you should know this name that I'm about to say. If you don't know this name, if you haven't read at least one of his book or watched some of his seminars, you need to do that right now. So Mark Douglas, my mentor recommended Mark Douglas to me, I think really early on when I started with him. He told me about trading in the zone. I immediately found like an audiobook on YouTube, and I didn't stay awake for all of it. I fell asleep, but kept listening to it over and over again, and eventually the concepts got embedded into my brain as I started to notice more things as I began trading. So who Mark Douglas is, he's basically he's a, how can I say this, a trading psychologist, to put it simply, right? He's someone that really focuses on trading psychology and basically teaches about the trading, or taught about the trading mindset, right? And he wrote 2 books, the Trading in the Zone, like I said, and the Disciplined Trader. All right, I have the physical copy of the Disciplined Trader, and I have an actual audiobook on Audible of Trading in the Zone. Disciplined Trader, I would say, is more so for more seasoned traders, because there's more instructional things about your system, okay? And Trading the Zone is more for the beginner, because it's not really system based, at least too much, or as in depth. But the thing that I want to talk about, I just want to read this one section and possibly allow someone to someone could benefit from it, because I know not everyone reads, and if you do read, not everyone catches everything. Like, I miss some things in reading, so I have to reread books sometimes. So I'm rereading this book. But if you get this book and go to the chapter is called The Steps to Success, chapter 16, page 212. All right. In this area, or in this chapter, he basically breaks up 3 steps to, like, he breaks up steps to success, and he goes pretty detailed into them, basically explaining the concept and also explaining what to do. And let's bring up the live trade while we're talking, so you guys have something to look at. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it. So chapter 16, Steps to Success, page 212. To be able to execute your trading system properly, you will need to incorporate 2 concepts into your mental framework: thinking in terms of probabilities, or correlating the numbers or the mechanics of your system to the behavior. Unfortunately, the only way you can really learn these things is actually to experience them by executing your system. The problem is that rarely will the typical trader stay with his system beyond 2 or 3 losses in a row. And taking 2 or 3 losses in a row is a very common occurrence for most trading systems. This creates something of a paradox or catch-22. How do you do it if you don't believe it? And you won't learn to believe it unless you do it long enough for it to become a part of your mental framework. That is where you employ mental discipline to make flawless execution a habit. Exercise. Take some of the trading capital that you set aside for your education to buy and trade a simple trading system with well-defined entry and exit points. Make a commitment to trade this system exactly according to the rules. You need to make a very strong commitment here and not play any games with yourself. The object of this exercise is to work through any resistance you may have to follow your rules. And I'm going to go ahead and skip down to this next portion. Your objectives are: 1. Learn the skill of flawless execution by learning that you can follow the rules you set forth for yourself. 2. To incorporate a belief into your mental system about the nature of probable outcomes so that you believe that you can make money in the long run with your trading system, if of course you can execute it properly. You will likely encounter many beliefs arguing against flawless execution. Here are a few such suggestions. First, understand that this exercise, at least for most people, is not going to be easy. So be easy on yourself. The more accepting you are of your mistakes, the easier it will be to make the next attempt. If your child were learning how to ride a bike, I'm sure you wouldn't scold him for falling off and telling him not to try again. You would encourage him and eventually he'd learn. Give yourself the same kind of understanding and consideration. And I'm gonna pause right there for a second. That reminds me of like when I was talking with my mentor, and I pretty much got the system down. I understood trading or technical side of things, and I was expecting that pains me, man. Okay.